Today on Maeder and Friends, we're going to be having a chat about the topic being too nice just means you're a doormat.
I think I know where you're going with this.
For men here, you may have heard this quite a lot of times where he's too nice or he's a nice guy, or it ends up leading to like that friend zone, as we can call it that. I like to reframe the mind because don't be a horrible person. That's not what I'm getting at. Rather change it around and be a good person. You can be a nice person. You can have the kindness. You can have the empathy, the honesty, forgiveness, gratitude, and respect for others. But the thing is, if you're constantly a nice person and constantly looking out for someone, or you're constantly thinking about your colleague at work as an example, and having to think about the whole time that you can't do this, you can't do that because it's going to upset them, I'm sorry, you are a doormat. There's a difference between being a nice person and being a good person. Being a good person is having all of those same characteristics, but it's also looking after yourself at the same time.
I think it's good to highlight the differences between what makes a nice guy versus a good guy. I've been labeled a good guy with asshole tendencies, but that's only because I'm somebody that opts in to do what is necessary, right? So if what is necessary is something that's the right thing to do, then I do it. Other times, if I deem it as not necessary, then I don't do it. And always I prioritize myself. I prioritize the people who are priorities in my life, my partner, my parents, that sort of thing. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't establish boundaries. And I think that is the key thing that differentiates nice guys from good guys, and that's boundaries. Establishing healthy boundaries so that you don't run yourself dry is so important. It's important for your mental health. It's important for your emotional health. It's important for your physical health. It's important for your financial well-being. It's just all around a good thing to do. And you'll find that it's a lot harder to take advantage of people who have healthy boundaries in place. A lot of people don't set up boundaries because they're scared of offending other people. They're scared of, offending the next person. And oftentimes, you can boil nice guys down to mainly two characteristics. People who have a tough time saying no because they're constantly seeking the appreciation or acknowledgement of others. And people who also don't really have a spine. They don't have the ability to stand up for themselves, to create those boundaries and prioritize themselves. So I think it's super important that we learn how to healthily go about our lives and just kind of prevent things like this happening. You see it so many times. It's happened to me. It's happened to many people, men, women, whatever else in between. There are a lot of people in the world that will take advantage of kindness, empathy. I don't really like empathy. I prefer sympathy because it's a lot easier to take advantage of empathy. It's a lot harder to take advantage of sympathy because empathy is the act of putting yourself in that person's shoes to understand them. You try to relate with them. You try to really get to understand what they're experiencing versus sympathy where you simply acknowledge what they're going through or what they're saying or what's happening, and you provide them with some sort of support, whether that be words of encouragement, whether that be financial, whether that be physical, emotional, mental. It's up to you in the situation and what your relationship with that person is. But we see so many people that take advantage of the other because they are seeking that validation. They're gullible, they're spineless, and unable to stand up for themselves. How many women, right? Just to make this an example because it's really common. How many women can exploit a man financially, emotionally, mentally, exploit his time, exploit him physically, and keep him within that friend zone without ever acknowledging that there's any chance for their relationship to go any further? The guy is there. He's there for the woman. He supports her financially, emotionally. He's there for in all of her troubles. And yet she keeps him at arm's length because she wants what he provides, but she doesn't want him. She just wants to use him. That is It's a nice guy because he's nice enough to let me take advantage of him, right? can look at the same thing with girls. When they're being too nice, they get walked all over by men who really don't care. They chase after these men because they're seeking this kind of validation and attention, and they only lead themselves up to be broken in the end because they're chasing after the affection of somebody that sees them merely as an object or a means of convenience, right? You're with a woman because she cooks well or she cleans the house for you. I mean, your girlfriend, she comes over, she cleans your room for you, she does all these things for you, and you're never really appreciative of it, but she's chasing after it because she's obsessed with that seek of validation, that seek of acknowledgement. She wants to be praised by you, but in reality, she's just barking up the wrong tree, so to say. So there are so many ways that things like this gets taken advantage of, and I honestly, there's no better word to explain it. A doormat, because you are essentially the mat of which people wipe their feet off on, and you hold onto that dirt happily. It's a horrible state to be in. It's a horrible thing, but you're there because you're either happy to be there because you don't know any better, or you're too scared to stand up for yourself and embrace yourself to achieve otherwise.
I mean, yeah, being a good person means acting with integrity, even when it's frowned upon or it's unpopular. Being a nice person, you're just seeking validation from others to be nice.
It sounds like it's good that you're a nice person, but it's actually not. Just because you're constantly seeking the external validation, so you'll constantly be doing stuff that's detrimental to your sanity, your head, but you keep doing it because of that validation. So you compromise your own needs to keep others happy. It sounds like a good thing, but it's actually not. Which is, if you think about it, don't have the motivation to constantly be liked, but rather do something which is right. I didn't want that to rhyme, but it actually rhymed really nicely. Nice person just focuses on being polite, when sometimes just honesty is actually the good thing to do. So I think I just want to say is it's good to help others, but not at the cost of your self-respect.
So in other words, a nice person wants you to feel good, but a good person wants the best for you, even if it doesn't feel good at that moment. I like that as the difference. So just think about yourself for a second and just don't get walked over. Don't be that doormat.